What's up, y'all? Rich Slayton here with a best of 3 from the Bernard Chong BCC3, and this time it's 2 fan favorites. On one side, the Hog Cycle Master Jack. On the other side, the Mortar Master Benzer. 2 of the best in the free-to-play archetypes going head-to-head in the APAC region for the BCC3. Before we jump into that, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, etc., ring the bell. Use code RICH in the shop for all that stuff. And if you haven't yet, go into my description and check out the link for Nova Island. That link and my promo code are both there. It's free to play on both iOS and Android. It's a mobile game unlike anything that you've ever seen before. It's super fun. I'm playing a bunch. Maybe you'll enjoy it too. So go ahead, check that out in the description below. Okay, that's it. Let's jump right into the action. This is a great matchup between Jack and Benzer. Here we go. Game number 1. And on one side, Jack opening up with the Royal Ghost and the Bomber and a whole lot of emotes coming out from Benzer. And Benzer not liking what he's seeing here. Maybe Jack already recognizing the matchup. Benzer looking like it's going to be, of course, Goblin Drill with Princess and the Royal Ghost. There you go. And it felt like maybe Golem for a minute, but with the Giant Skeleton feels maybe more like Royal Giant out of Benzer. We'll see if that's the direction he's going. Of course, throwing the Sparky emote, so very interesting to see if he does go that direction. Don't think that he will. And lots of troops that can be converted to piggies pretty easily, so Benzer going to get some nice value on this left-hand side and really kind of hampered Jack's ability to defend there with that Giant Skeleton Bomb. GS not so popular these days, but you can see the synergy there with the Mother Witch. Very, very nicely worked between those two. And yep, it is going to be Royal Giant. RG Giant Skeleton was absolutely massive as a combination for a while until the Giant Skeleton nerf. Still does have value. We are seeing it being played in some dual deck sets, just not to the prevalence that we once saw before that Giant Skeleton nerf. Fisherman going to try to get some pull in here, but nice sort of spam of the DPS there at the bridge to cover that up and maintain the presence, and 2 bombers down. 2 bombers down, going bomb for bomb, and the bandit to protect the bombers. Well played. You can hear me clapping in the background. That was very, very nicely played from Jack. Excellent, excellent reaction. And just like that, what was a total domination for the first minute and a half by Benzer Ridel. Ridel? I've been corrected so many different times. By Benzer. Jack gets it right back and is in this thing. Death's down by about 126 HP. Gonna be curious to see, though, if Jack can come up with the same magic. A lot of fancy plays here so far to stay in this one. Probably gonna defensively drill here, I think. No, Tesla. There you go. Wondered why he hadn't played Tesla yet, but maybe it was just really low way back in his cycle. But even then, by the time we saw Royal Giant, it should have come out already. So the defensive drill comes out on the back end to prevent those shots. And it is Jack with solid dual lane pressure, and now after that Princess shot, the lead. Huge lead. Not a huge lead, but a huge moment here for Jack as he sends the Fire Spirit to the left-hand side. Just some pressure that Benzer has to respond to, and the oops you see there played the Fisherman too close and got the splash damage. Cannot afford that against Drill in this situation. Tesla and Drill together can lock down this defense. We'll see how many more times Drill goes to the front. You do see Drill going to that left-hand side here, and a ton of damage. Mother Witch just not able to do enough quickly, and that is absolutely devastating. Keep in mind, no big spell, no direct damage spell of any kind for Jack, and look at that. Giant Skeleton is so deep in the zone. Royal Giant on the tower. Oh no! Jack seemed to have this thing locked, and right there, kaboom, loses it. Loses control. What a devastating turn there at the end for Jack. Just could not hold on to that push in the middle. Man, it seemed like he really had things, especially when that Goblin Drill got away and the Mother Witch couldn't really control the Goblin Drill damage on that left-hand tower. It really felt for a couple of moments there like Benzer had this thing. Some really great plays early on to protect those bombers, to keep things moving. But in the end, it was that final push of Benzer that turned things around on Jack and took over. The Giant Skeleton penetrated way too deep, maybe some panic moments, not able to control the Royal Giant. And that's what happens with the Giant Skeleton. It's not even the Giant Skeleton bomb connecting that creates all the problems necessarily, but it's that giant skeleton penetrating and making you panic and have to make plays and focus on that, and you don't focus on the rest of the defense. So really, really great stuff out of Benzer to recover there. Let's see if Jack can get things back here in game number 2. So a little bit back and forth here. Jack giving both the anger and the respect at the turn of events that we just saw. I'd be upset too if I seemingly had taken control of the match the way that he had and then had it turn on its head in the final moments. In a bit of a waiting game here. Keep in mind, Jack did not play any direct damage spells at all in game number 1, so makes it very difficult for Benzer to make a choice here, and that's part of why that Royal Ghost Princess Goblin Drill deck is such an interesting and valuable take on Goblin Drill because of what it does free up for you in terms of game 2 and game 3 and how hard it makes the game planning for your opponent with trying to figure out what they want to play offensively. Obviously, we already saw the Mother Witch out of Benzer, so it's not going to be in the mix. So Fireball not as impactful in that part of things, but of course, Benzer could go with other Fireball-based decks. Royal Hogs and Fireball Bait in that regard have been popular as of late. Benzer, on the other side, similarly played a very interesting deck that didn't compete with lots of other decks. Especially that giant skeleton being a massive piece, the Skarmy as well. So 90 seconds away, and so far, it's just been an emote fight. And this is scintillating action. Well, I'm very curious to see what direction they're going in. Could it be Golem? If it's Golem, you feel like Golem gets played in the first 10 seconds now rather than the first 2 minutes. Of course, Golem has been making a comeback overall. Benzer certainly enjoying himself. Jack with a lot of the angry emotes. So here we go. We should get this started, and look at that. A 3-3 split with the 6-man against Jack. Bowler in response will be nice on that right-hand side. Benzer taking his time. Oh, this is interesting. That 6-loon that's been coming in. 6-loon drill. We've been seeing a bit of this as of late. We'll see. And the oops out of Benzer. Second time we've seen an oops out of Benzer today. Right? Or was that the oops? I don't remember if that's the oops. And look at this. Oh, the freeze. Oh, the freeze. And nothing in Benzer's hand to deal with that. What a cheeky freeze out of Jack. The Graveyard Bowler freeze. Bowler Loon freeze is way more popular right now. But the GUI ground responses have to come out. There's absolutely nothing for that Inferno. And that was just nasty from top to bottom. Absolutely nasty. So Benzer steals one in game number 1. In game number 2, the absolute cheek from Jack. Just a, you take one shot, I'll take one shot, and the game is over. Man, that was, you know, it's such a frustrating one where the freeze comes in and the Inferno Dragon, and you saw the Royal Ghost, there was nothing there in the hand of Benzer to respond to that Inferno Dragon once it was on tower with the freeze. No way to recover, and that's an easy GG at that point. There's no way that Benzer's going to break through. That is massive. So far, have not seen either of these two go to their best-known decks, the decks that made them famous. We'll see if they do that here in game number 3. So this time, no big waiting game, and it is Mortar for Benzer. So this is what Benzer fans want to see, and we see a Musketeer, probably going to be Hog then for Jack. Right? What else is running Musketeer right now other than Hog? Very interesting, although it would be an interesting Hog variant. But Benzer running Mortar is what Benzer fans certainly want to see. And oh, I guess there was a bit of a glitch there in the clean feed. And here we go. The clean feed is back up and running. Did not realize there was a clean feed problem. But here we go. This is exactly what we wanted. It's Jack running Hog against Benzer running Mortar Royal Hogs, but still running Mortar. And I don't know how Jack got that damage because of the glitch in the clean feed. And that was on the side of the original clean production. So nothing I can do about that one, unfortunately. But we do still get to watch the remaining 3.5 minutes. Hog high, EQ in. And that timing for Benzer just not quite what he was going for. You understand the idea, but yeah, and the well played has to come out there. It has to come out there. Valk on one side, Pigs on the other. And look at this two-part pull. Misses one Pig, does Jack. But the Inferno Tower, with the Knight acting for some protection as well, going to really handle this push. It is going to leave Benzer with about an elixir and a half advantage as we go into sudden death, or as we go into double elixir time. But the damage lead still way for Jack. And that's just, he just chooses to double down. Doesn't even save the EQ for the mortars, doubles down there. He's going to go ahead and split spears to control. And that's one of the nicer control elements. Let's see if the delivery comes out here, and it will. A little bit late, going to give up maybe a bit more damage here than Jack had anticipated. And now he's just trying to EQ and get the mortar off the board and not even worry about getting tower damage here. Knows he's ahead. Spears have been instrumental in the defensive side for Jack so far, both in controlling that mortar, kiting the mortar, and also, as you saw right there, picking up the Musketeer. Knight to the middle one more time. Fireball doesn't get the Knight, but does get the Muskie. EQ cycle on the left-hand side, 692 to 1222 as we head into sudden death overtime. And the Musketeer does get picked up by the Ice Spirit. Is the mortar back around yet here for Benzer? No, decides to DPS it and gives up a hog shot. Oh, yeah, oh no. And Benzer saying this one might already be over here. No real way to break through. Has to try to find a way to overwhelm, and knows that he can't sit back on his laurels and try to, or sit back on his haunches and try to super counterplay this because of the EQ cycle. Musketeer comes in low. Valk to protect. EQ going to go ahead and cycle that away. Cannon cart high. This is, Jack has to be a little bit careful here. Fireball in on the Musketeer. She does not get touched though. And Benzer really needed that. Benzer really needed that. He knows that's a GG here. He really needed to go ahead and get his hand on that Musketeer, and he just could not get it done. The cycle should be fast enough for Jack to finish this off fairly easily. Plays the delivery, cleans things up, and that's going to be one away. GG, well played. Benzer waves the white flag. Jack does the victory dance. And while Benzer may have thrown out more emotes over the game, Jack threw out more damage, and that's a GG well played. So there you have it. That was it. A great matchup between Jack and Benzer. That first game, the turnaround was so nuts. The second game, the quick bang bang with the Inferno Dragon and the freeze. And then game number 3. You felt like Benzer had it for a couple of moments, but Jack did a great job of controlling the mortar and the way he protected the Inferno Tower and used it. You don't think of Inferno Tower necessarily as a central meta card right now, especially not against Royal Hogs, but worked out very, very well for Jack, who protected it nicely, got the work done, and in the end, just maybe a couple of miscalculations by Benzer and how he defended those hogs and gave up maybe too many hog hits over the course of that game. So that's it for this matchup. Hope you've really, really enjoyed it. I enjoy bringing it to you. Of course, more of the Bernard Chong Cup coming here, both some of these best of replays and live streams as well as we go closer and closer to regional playoffs and the world finals for the BCC3, so make sure you check that out. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, ring the bell, all that stuff. Use code RICH in the Supercell shop for all your Supercell games to support me. And of course, if you don't support me, support somebody. Put someone's code in. It's super duper helpful, and we all appreciate it. Also, again, Nova Island, same code RICH. Isn't that convenient? Go ahead and use that. The Nova Island link is going to be there in the description as well. That's it for today. Been fun hanging out with you. As always, be excellent to each other.